Yeah, that's right. And Ray's not here, so it's really working. But, you know, it's more than in person, so I'm sorry there's some confusion.
That's cool.
Were you in bed?
No, I was out on the way to an appointment with my wife.
Uh-oh. Am I in trouble?
No.
Okay. You're here for graduation. Why?
Why? Oh, man. I don't know. I've done a lot of reflecting, and I've been on probation for 6 years straight. And I know the number of days and months, because I have a counter on my phone. And 680 days ago, I got locked up yet again. And I mean, I've been locked up a lot of other times before that, but something changed. And I don't know what else to say that it was other than an answered prayer and me following directions that got me to where I'm at today. Sometimes there's a lot of things I don't feel like I deserve out of life, but I also know that at the same time there's a past version of myself and it's a totally different version of myself. That's where I'm at today.
680, huh? How long? So, I take it for you that's a long period of time. It's almost 2 years.
You're 2 for 2, making graduates cry.
I mean, the person.
I've been crying. Oh, excuse me, if I wasn't so tough, I'd be crying.
The person that I sit and abused like the most is sitting right behind me.
Amber Holden?
No, my wife. And,
That was gonna be my second choice.
like, I will never forget where I came from. I never ever thought I was gonna change. Like, I became sure, like, I knew that I was gonna end up dying. So, I really didn't think emotions were gonna come out like this. I knew I felt it, I didn't think I was gonna let it come out.
What changed 680 days ago?
I don't know, like, I don't feel like court's the proper place to bring religion totally in, but
There's nothing proper about this courtroom.
Yeah.
I just, like, that time when I got locked up, like, for the first few days, it was normal until I went upstairs and I bugged to talk to this counselor. I think her name was Miss Betsy. And I went in her office and, like, bawled my eyes out and said that I needed help. Because I knew, like, if I ended up going to prison, I had an even higher chance of losing my family, my wife, my kids, and everything that I love and care about. And I'm not sure I could have been sober if I lost that. If I could have still been sober today. Like, I'm truly not sure. And she called Dart. And there was a lot of prayers in between everything and a lot of, like, a couple weird spiritual experiences all within a 9-day period while I was there. But I mean, Dart came and talked to me, and I made a post the other day about this. Like, in the beginning for me, like, I burnt every single bridge that I had. I had nobody. And Dart put their head out for me, and like people that didn't even know me believed in me, and then I went to the Zev house, and like I made the best of, it's really hard to describe, like, cause in my perspective, like, I just hit that point where I was ready to change, so it was kinda easy. It wasn't easy, it wasn't easy at all, like, there's been so many days I struggled. But there was a lot of, like, people in the beginning that believed in me and showed me love and support, that didn't even know me, that helped me get back the love and support that I lost, that I burned from everybody else. Like, and just the momentum of that is kind of what kept me going. Like, I started to see, it was really unusual to me, for me to be 9 days clean and go into this recovery house, and like 3 days later, I almost like wanna be helping other people. Like, they probably looked at me like I was crazy at that house. Like, they kept telling me to focus on myself, and I was looking at all the other broken people, wanting to help them some way. And I think like finding a purpose also helped. I don't know, like, I'm just losing track of what I'm trying to say.
No, you're not. You had a moment on that 680 days ago where you got determined to get it together.
That moment, I was like 3 different people on one day that day.
How's your life different today than it was?
It's entirely different. I mean, there's an obvious part where I'm not doing drugs, but like mentally, I've improved so much and gotten so much clarity over time and self-control. I'm a lot nicer person, like, I still, she can agree. I'm a lot nicer person, I'm a lot more rational. And less irrational. I mean, like, I've still had moments with my kids, but, like, it's nothing compared to, like, it's just nothing compared to who I was. And I don't just live for myself and my own selfish desires, except my PlayStation 5 or things like that I wanted. I literally like make room in my heart to care for my family and other people and strangers, and like I don't focus on myself that much anymore, because it's almost like easy to just do it automatically. And before, like, when I would have a thought in early recovery, like, I had a really hard time, like, especially trying to earn my family back, those times and arguing and stuff like that, like, I had a really hard time, like, not going to pick up, or not just walking out of the Zev house with absolutely nowhere to go to do something. And the longer you fight through that, the easier it becomes. Like, I was a soulless, hopeless, what was the term I used? I was a hopeless, I don't wanna missay it first. I can't remember it. The first part was I was a hopeless dope fiend, and then there was something like I'll get flipped. But I'm an entirely different person. Like, and remembering and hurting about the past, it keeps me reminded very easily why I don't wanna go back. You can't just go and pick up something one time, when you have a history of liking stuff, you can't just pick up something one time, because each time that you do that, you're going to have more and more guilt. Like, each time that I relapsed, I had more guilt, and the more guilt that you have, the more it makes you just wanna not stop, because you feel like you're picking up to cover up your feelings anyways, and now you got so much guilt because of that mistake you made, you can't really stop yourself. I'm all over the place in what I'm saying, I know.
You're doing good. I hear from the treatment team?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Very much, Tony, you are one of the few people on my case that I've ever had that I don't think I ever had to worry about. From day one, you've been compliant. He was in my office last week, Judge, and I looked at my compliance things from week to week to week. He did not have one single non-compliant week the entire time he was in our program, which I think is almost rare.
Wow.
So 18 months of full compliance, which is awesome. It's been a pleasure to work with you, man. Hopefully we see you on our treatment team someday. I think we will. I know it's what you wanna do, so. It's hard to follow up a joy speech, but. Man, a few words, congratulations, man, and awesome.
Tony was compliant but annoying on my sheets over and over and over again. Yes, I added a whole category for that. You're not the only one. And that's a good thing, because compliant but annoying means that you're asking questions, that you are paying attention, that you have forward-thinking goals, that you're making me do extra work. So you became compliant but annoying for a long period of time, and that's a good thing. And that's, I have a judge that called me a gnat in a letter of recommendation, so I can tell you that just because somebody calls you annoying doesn't mean it's always a bad thing. And in this case, creating the work, it's the kind of work I'm supposed to be doing. So you release a ton of things in time that we spent on you, that we should have. Which is why today I'm also asking that we waive the 1-year period and seal his records early. He was compliant the entire time in our court, and if I remember right, there's not a victim in this crime. So there is nobody to object unless the state would like to.
Now, you see
After
how
all
smooth I was? You see how smooth, I want to do this good thing, huh? That's where Super Bowl, wants to be a big tough prosecution I was talking about, and wants to ruin Tony's life, I'm gonna turn over to you, Mary.
I doubt she's gonna want to.
Oh, that was
Good
just-
preparation.
I'd like to add something, Your Honor, if I could. Tony, I never met with you, which is a good thing also, but I want you to know one
Not
thing.
a good thing.
Well, it's not bad.
He would come to the house like Saturday
Once or
morning
twice
at
I
9
came to your
o'clock.
house. But I'm glad that you met Miss Betsy, because, she is an angel. So that was the first thing you probably did right. Anybody other counselor, I don't know if they would put you in that level, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
She's
do.
a great person, so I'm really glad she put you on the right path though. So, you always, if you remember her, she's a good lady, so I'm glad you met her.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, well, let's see. It's left to me. No, Tony, I've been to Tina, gosh, I wanna say now, I think 2 years, so, we were always on video, but I saw you in person when you came to support the memorial service and the couple other functions, I believe. And you came right up and talked and were friendly, and I could tell that you were seriously into the program. And, I think it's wonderful, first of all for you, but also for your darling wife who's sitting back there. And you are always so friendly, so take that with you forward. Feel free to reach out. We do still have the alumni group, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, there's an alumni group, that you can be a part of if you so choose. But anytime, any need, feel free to call any one of us, okay? All right, and, with that, the state what absolutely does not object.
Thank you. I do have something to say too, Judge.
Yes.
Tony was referred to us, I think you had already been referred to treatment court, and he had gotten somehow caught up in some drama, for lack of a better word, over at ZEF. And him and I think another person were removed from ZEF, and he had nowhere to go. He didn't know what to do. Nobody knows the story but him and I. He had no idea what to do, where to go. All he knew was that he did not want to use again. And he picked us, somehow he had my phone number, and he called me. And so I walked him through, I don't know if it was at night or on a weekend or whatever, 2 or 3 times, I'm gonna cry, 2 or 3 times that you called. And, you know, I tried to get him referred, we tried to get him to racing, we tried to get him someplace to stay, and I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what happened, but it was, at that point in time, his life could have flipped a switch again. Because he was removed from his stable housing, he was destabilized from ZEF, and he kept it together. And he didn't know what to do, so he reached out to anybody that would pick up a phone, I think, and help him. And he kept it together, and the strength that that took at that moment, don't ever underestimate the strength that you have, because that was a very, very, very low point. And you reach out.
I wanted to say something and follow up with that too. I went to stay at Dan Hill's house, which was Adam's house. That he kind of flopped away from that, and I was staying in a room with somebody smoking crack over here, trying to pass their crack pipe around, somebody else drinking that time, for about a month until CSB closed my case and let me go home. But I still, like, I know I'm strong, like, I'm different, I'm definitely different.
Are you, oh,
Sorry, Your Honor. Tony, you are the only client, every now and then someone, but you are consistently, and I appreciate you, that will show up to memorial services for other clients, to things in the community that I've seen you be at. You know, I've seen you a couple times, and you are the only client that I know will consistently on Zoom put in the chat, it randomly, congrats. I don't know if you know a client or not, that will say, congratulations, keep it up, dude, you're doing good. You are always someone, if you see someone doing well, we'll just give them all type of praise. I feel like, shoot, if I was doing good, you would say, keep it up, Joy. So listen, I just want to tell you, I'll tell you that, and that's so little, but I see it, and I don't know if no one's ever told you, but that is so, I do that myself, and some other people do. I like stuff like that, and I think kinda like we're the same type of person. I don't care how adult we get, it goes with me a long way, just by when someone tells me, that's not implied with me all the time, good job, you're doing well, I need to hear it every now and then. So when you do that, and you do that with other people, that goes a long way. So I wanna tell you, thank you for doing that too, so that's yeah.
The social media personality that kind of created me I had to be more open.
So thank you.
Thank you.
so you've been on paper for 6 years.
Yeah. It's for coffee. That's all I drank this morning was coffee.
What are you gonna do tomorrow?
Um,
Are you gonna like go to bed, and then panic that you didn't drop or check the drop line?
I will probably call the drop line just because,
At least you'll hear Nick's
Have
voice.
I had
So
it?
here's my story
You can
about
call
Tony.
me whenever you want to hear my voice.
So Nick usually sets the drop line, and occasionally he takes a day off, and then I'm in charge of the drop line. And about 50% of the time I forget to set it on time, and Tony would call every single time and say, the drop line's not set.
I'll wait patiently down there till like 9 o'clock and I'll be like,
Yeah, he
alright,
would.
what's going on?
Maybe 5 till. And it was like, oh shit, I gotta go, I gotta go do that. So I always knew that my fallback, if I didn't remember, was that Tony would call. So now I don't have a fallback, so I'm gonna miss Tony.
I'll remember
Just keep
that.
checking it for us. Let it know.
Let me know.
Well,
I might even do that.
I think Bill said you're gonna be on the treatment team. I know Zeph is hired. Zeph's always hired. Amanda's giving me hands up.
I've had so many other thoughts too, like, I mean, I don't know where to start, but like, what if I could do my own? What if I could like, bring up my own thing even, like, because I've had to like sit back and hold off on what I initially wanted to do, it gave me time to like, think about other things, but I don't even know where to start, like, my first thing would be start a corporation or something and then figure out what I wanna do with it.
You know how to start.
Maybe get some experience.
Can I give you a
first.
suggestion of a person to talk to? Do you know who Jacob Spellis is?
No.
Well, we can probably get his contact information, cause would be a good person. He was on probation with our department, started his own recruitment agency. So, he's a good guy.
Which agency is that?
It's, Synergy.
It's been called a couple of different things.
Off of Bernat on Airport.
Yeah. Yeah, but we can get his info and.
He literally sat in our chair 10 years ago as a high-risk
Mhm.
defendant. He committed a felony, got a master's degree, social work.
Yep.
Doing really well, married.
You started with education,
Yep,
step one.
step 1, he was in CTF, 4 months, high risk.
It's called Vital Health, by the way.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. But yeah, I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you. He's a great guy. He's there, that first Wednesday frequently
Yeah.
at the Government Center.
He's written several books, I
Yep.
think, and he does a lot of public speaking.
He's on YouTube.
On top of that, so come on.
Yeah, Jacob,
There you go,
Jacob
that's something you can
Spellis.
check out.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Truth be
I
told,
appreciate it.
it's not about where you came from. It's where you're going. And how you move forward, you already know how. This little song, just put one foot in front of the other. That's the secret, is that a lot of people wonder and, they forget, you just have to go. You just have to do. If you're doing, then you'll end up going where you belong. You'll be where you ought to be. But I can't wait till you're in the treatment.
I know that for sure.
Problem is, I won't be able to talk about this case anymore because it's gonna be sealed.
One of those stuff will still remember it.
You're allowed to remember it. I have a certificate here. It recognizes that Anthony Rowan, AKA Tony, has met all the requirements of Phase 5 and is now eligible for graduation from the Lucas County Adult Treatment Corps program. Certificate is presented to you, this day, signed by myself, Nikki Kolozinski, the coordinator, and Bill Wolf, your position.
You guys have been great.
They've been great. I'm just a pretty face. We're in deep trouble. There is a wristband. Believe in yourself. I think you should read that, because that is very appropriate. And my guess is that is very random. What does it say?
To do anything.
Courage to do anything. message.
Right.
There is the coin, change your thinking, change your life. And then in the back where treatment and justice meet, you are a graduate, sir. Tony Rowan. All remaining fees, fines, and costs are hereby waived. All rights of citizenship are hereby restored, and sir, you are no longer on probation.